We're using Solver in Excel to solve the Win Big Gambling Club problem. This is an example of using linear programming to address a marketing mix problem. Basically, we have a marketing budget of $8,000 and we have 4 choices for the medium in which to advertise. We have TV spots, newspaper ads, primetime radio spots, and afternoon radio spots. We also have constraints. And given these constraints and given the costs and given our budget, what we want to know is how many of each type of spot we should run to maximize the audience that we're going to reach. The first thing that we're going to start by filling in is how many people we reach with every TV spot. And this is information that we have been given. We're told that a 1-minute TV spot is going to reach 5,000 people. A newspaper ad is going to reach 8,500 people. A primetime radio spot is going to reach 2,400 people. And an afternoon radio spot is going to reach 2,800 people. Now what we're going to do is write the formula for the objective function. What we want to know is, given that we run a certain number of TV spots and each TV spot is going to give us an audience of 5,000 people, plus however many newspaper ads we run multiplied by the 8,500 people every newspaper ad will help us reach, plus the number of afternoon spots we run times 2,400, plus the number of afternoon spots times the 2,800. You'll recall that the way we're going to write this formula is with the sum product. What it allows us to do is to take this range and say we want to multiply these items by these items. So it's going to be B6 through E6, comma, B5 through E5. Now when we write this formula, we're going to want to copy it down for all of the other constraints. And we're always going to want it to use the B5, E5. No matter where we copy this formula to, we always want to be multiplying by the number of TV spots, the number of newspaper ads, and so on. The way that we're going to make that set, we call it absolute addressing. The way that we're going to say no matter where we copy this formula to, always use B5 through E5 is with dollar signs. What I did is I highlighted B5 through E5 and I hit F4. That automatically added the dollar signs. You're welcome to add the dollar signs manually, but it should be $B, $5 through $E, $5. Now that we've written that formula, we can copy it down for all of the other constraints. I'm going to right click and choose copy. Then I'm going to highlight the area where I want to copy it to. I'm going to right click. I just wanted to show you, you could do a regular copy. When you do a regular copy, you're going to copy both the formula that we've written as well as the formatting. You'll notice that that area had been highlighted blue and now it would be highlighted green. Because I want to keep that formatting, I want to keep that distinct blue area, I'm going to choose to paste in just the formulas. That copies the formulas, but not necessarily the formatting. The next thing we're going to do is start to write the constraints. We've been told that the maximum number of TV ads that we should run in a week is 12. So why don't we fill in that first? We're going to say the number of TV ads that we run has to be less than or equal to 12. So we want to take this value, whatever's in T5, and we want that to be less than 12. The way we're going to write that is we're going to put kind of a surrogate here, if you will. We're going to put a number 1 in here. And you'll notice from the formula, it's going to take the number of TV spots that we run, multiply it by 1, and add it to the number of newspaper ads that we run, multiplied by nothing. And prime time spots, multiplied by nothing, and afternoon spots multiplied by nothing. So what this is going to give us is the number of TV spots has to be less than or equal to 12. The maximum number of newspaper ads that we've been told to run is 5. The maximum number of primetime radio spots we've been told to run in a week is 25. The maximum number of afternoon radio spots we've been told to run in a week is 20. Now we're going to deal with our budget. The next constraint we have has to do with how much money we have to spend. We have to spend less than or equal to $8,000. We're not going to be using ones anymore when we write this constraint because now we're talking about how much money we're spending on TV ads. It costs $800 to run one TV ad. Why don't we stop there just for a second and look at the formula? What we want to do is take how many TV spots we're going to run, multiply that by $800 per ad, plus how many newspaper ads we're going to run times the price of a newspaper ad, and so on. So we're going to fill the costs in all the way across. A newspaper ad is $9.25, a primetime radio spot is $2.90, an afternoon radio spot is $3.80. So we're going to take the number of ads, we're multiplying it by the cost, we're summing it up. We have to spend less than or equal to $8,000. We're also told that we have a constraint on the amount of money we can spend on radio ads. The amount of money has to be less than or equal to $1,800. It doesn't matter whether it's primetime or afternoon radio spots, but the maximum amount on radio spots is $1,800. So again, because we're talking about the cost, the amount of money we're spending on ads, we're going to put the 290 and the 380 in. These are all of our less than constraints, and we've been careful to put all of the less than constraints together. Our last constraint is a greater than constraint. We're told that there's a minimum number of radio spots that we should run in a week. We should run at least 5 radio spots, 5 or more. So now we're back to talking about the number of radio spots, not the cost of those spots, but the number. So now we're back to using ones again as the surrogate value. We want the number of primetime spots times 1 plus the number of afternoon spots times 1 to be greater than or equal to 5. Now that we have our constraint set up, we're ready to run it in Solver. We're going to go to the Data tab and click Solver. The objective function is in cell F6. That's the number of people that we'll be reaching, and we want to maximize it. The cells that we can change are those yellow cells. It's how many ads we're running. So that's B5 through E5.